snakes and rats and stuff like that.
Are you really?
Well, snakes especially.
I used to take care of her plant in college, so I've got a thing for spiders. I just.
It's time.
All right. Call the meeting to order. Any public comment today on the airport committee?
Rob's got one.
You got one?
You want to
I
vote?
don't have a podium, but I can talk.
Okay.
You want me to do it over there or here? Where do you feel safe at?
I don't feel unsafe, so I don't have a problem with it.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, for the record, my name is Edgar. I'm a resident of Edgar County, and I want to talk about the airport. I'm going to do this again at the meeting. I think I'll do start with some of it here. Folks know that Grant has a lot of lies on it. Not true. That you know. They all had a visit from the sheriff recently. The sheriff had a complaint from me that there was federal documents said there's only a 1,000-gallon tank. There's 15 pages of documents say they delivered more than 1,000 gallons of fuel. The sheriff determined that Jimmy didn't steal fuel. You folks weren't in collusion with Jimmy to steal fuel. He concluded that I was wrong. He concluded that you have a 10,000-gallon fuel tank, and that's the end of that complaint. He concluded that you were not in collusion to steal fuel. That's the end of that complaint. That's good. But the result of that is that he proved there is a 10,000-gallon Jet A fuel tank at the airport and it's in use, which is contrary to the federal documents you know. And he also proved that each of you know this. So, what's next? There are possibilities. State, federal attorney general can investigate you folks, determine that Jimmy has deliberately lied, and advance with criminal proceedings. They arrest Jimmy. They can arrest the board members for being part of it. You have the other thing coming at you from the FAA. They can investigate it. They can say, we've got this police report, we don't understand. The document you submitted as a county, so it's a 1,000-gallon tank, yet your sheriff says there's a 10,000-gallon tank. It's a problem. They may come down and say, this isn't good, we want the county to reimburse us for all the expenses on this grant. That's a real possibility. I don't think it'll happen for a while. I don't think it's going to happen yet. But whatever. There's also a civil proceeding that could take place that bring about an injunction to stop the project after it started. And that would be a problem also, because you have a federal judge. And you know, it didn't take your sheriff's deputy more than a day or two to figure out there's a 10,000-gallon tank there. And I don't think it's going to be a problem for an impartial body such as a federal court to decide to lie on this stuff. So the message today is, it's time to quit the bullshit before you all wind up getting arrested. That's a real possibility. Before you wind up embarrassing yourself with the county having to pay for something they're not going to get. Those are real possibilities. See, I don't care. I'm working at it, and I believe it's going to happen. So I'm trying to help you guys out. But if you don't want to listen, if you haven't listened, that's fine. There are consequences for what you're doing. So I got this.
You don't have anything?
No, well, not for this one, since I was just gonna say, I'll save it for the next one, that deals with the audit.
You want to address?
No, because it doesn't do me good. I mean, I will if you
Well,
want me to.
well,
I mean,
I
many
thought
of the things.
I thought we had addressed this with Hanson's and the people at Springfield.
We have, and I'm not worried about it. I mean, we have offered to correct everything that's on there, and there are, I would call them inaccuracies, you call them lies. I have offered, I did exactly what you asked me to do. I called them and said, what do we need to do to get this grant straightened out so we don't get into trouble? Those were my exact words. They came back, and you've seen the letter, you've seen several letters, and everybody's fine with what we've done.
Well,
I'm just telling you, I'm not asking for
if
comments.
this is
You've
dialogue,
already had yours.
I will
Okay.
respond to that because you brought that up. My discussion is not with Hanson. Hanson is a state agency.
They went, no, they're a
They're
private
paid.
agency. They went to the state, our response came from the state and the feds,
I'm working with the federal agencies.
whatever.
Right. So we've addressed it.
We have addressed it.
Okay.
Our attorney says we have addressed it.
Okay?
We have a track record that we have acknowledged that there are issues. We are not, according to the state's attorney, in harm's way.
Thank you for that.
No more public comments? Okay. The third agenda item is review the commercial lease for recommendation to the Edgar County Board. Jeff?
Yeah, the lease now looks like it has the attachment, which is attachment A, okay? And the original leases that are signed have that on it. Forthwith, they will also, on line, in the second paragraph, line 2, where it says 19,790, that will say 84 square feet, and will be initialed by both Peg and by Ben and Dave, as per the state's attorney. Everything else is exactly how we got it. We still have the check that is sitting in the file uncashed until action. And so what's left is any questions and to make a recommendation to the board on how to proceed with the lease.
Any comments, Dale?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I move that we recommend to the board that they accept this lease and authorize or approve this lease and authorize the chairman to sign it.
Is there a second? Okay. I have one question.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that if you had a question.
The date. What date are we going with?
I'm going to ask the state's attorney what date to put. Mills has indicated that the week didn't matter to them. We can backdate it. You know, I just want to make sure that the state's attorney is okay with what we're going to have.
Okay. I didn't know whether it's going to be like today or like Monday or.
Well, we could do today just as easily and
Okay.
initial it. I think that would be the easiest thing. And then if we owe them a few bucks, we can take it off of next month's. Okay?
Any other questions on that? All those in favor, aye, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
Dale, you need to just make a call on whatever you need to do. Okay?
Okay, item number 4, discuss the resolution regarding the airport advisory board.
In light of everything, I think we ought to table that issue. I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, there's some things in there that I think could still be modified, but maybe the dust should settle a little bit and we'll see where we're at. And maybe the new advisory, once we get one appointed, maybe they could review it and see if they wanted to make any changes to it, and we do it together.
That was my idea. I think that's
I
an
didn't
excellent
mean-
idea. I mean, that's what I was thinking myself.
I think we ought to try to get, I think the main thing we need to do is try to get an advisory board put back together and get them working with everybody.
Right.
And I think that should be the main priority.
I agree, totally agree. The sooner the better on that,
I agree.
to have them involved in some of these other issues.
Right.
Okay.
And then if they have a recommendation, no, that over, we shouldn't be dealing with that, we should do that, or they think that there's another, I mean, anything's open,
I agree.
and that way they're participating.
All right, that sounds good to me. Review applications for airport manager. I know we've got 2. two applications that we, and I think I've made copies for both of you. I don't know whether I gave copies to the other board members, but I know I did to you guys.
And I guess that kind of falls right back in, that if we got an advisory board, I mean, we can start talking to these people, but we need to get the advisory board on board and have them have some input in these too, don't we?
Probably. Wouldn't be a bad idea.
I mean, we've got a little time, but
Yeah. I know.
not much.
Yeah, because Dale's
Right.
gonna be gone for a few days. And he's gonna be here for like another 10 days or so, then gone for a couple weeks. Then he'll be back, but
Back in. What do you think? I mean, I'm open.
let's see how quick we can get this advisory thing going and look at it next week. And if we feel like maybe we need to start the interview process, maybe next week, we'll do that. If
Right.
not, we'll talk again next Monday
Right.
at the study session. Because I was thinking possibly some later on next week, because then we gotta notify the people and see when they can make it, coordinate everybody's schedules and everything.
Right. Well, I think both of these folks have indicated that they're available whenever we want to talk to them.
Okay. On the surplus equipment, you wanna wait till Dale gets back
Yeah.
and the maintenance?
We can always deal with that, those issues later if we have to.
And that's, some of this stuff might be for the
Right.
advisory. So I think that, I agree, the priority is to try to get that organized and get some members that are willing to serve.
Yeah, we're gonna have our week, then you want us to go out and find out again I mean, I think we at least have 3 or 4 names. Well, actually, we have 8 probably, but I don't know whether
Right.
all of them are still available.
But I think we need to reach out to all of them,
Right.
because I think I'd like to see all of them involved myself.
And if we have enough, I mean, there's no reason for it to be 9.
Correct. I'd like to see some of the others involved. We recommended unanimously to recommend the commercial lease to the full board. We made one modification to the last copy that you got on the square footage.
And then the date will be,
And they were talking probably today, but we'll run that by state's attorney next year. I assume it'd be
We
today.
had the square footage wrong, or?
not this.
On the main hangar, not just the main hangar, the whole building, office area and stuff.
The Exhibit A was correct, but the reference there should be, it's not in what they're leasing, it's what, the just general description of the premises. So,
And the resolution, we talked about a proposed resolution. We're going to, for the time being, leave it as is, and maybe get the new airport advisory committee involved in it.
they may say it's fine.
Oh, okay.
And to make recommend, if they see there should be some changes, we'll get their input on everything from there on out. That's why we're putting the advisory board is per,
Okay.
okay?
And we possibly might be able to contact it over the weekend, and might be able to, if we can get it on the agenda first thing Monday morning, might be able to get it for Wednesday. I'm not sure that we can, but it's a possibility.
And it'd be nice to do it total. I mean, I
Right.
think we've got some that I
Right.
know will go.
Yeah, we don't want to do like 3 now and like
Yeah.
5 later.
It'd be better if they all keep.
So if it comes together, Augie will notify you first thing Monday morning, and you could add it to the agenda.
Be done.
Before 9 o'clock, preferably.
When? Before 9 o'clock on Monday morning?
Monday.
Okay. you'll allow that exception?
As long as I can get it done by 9 o'clock,
All right.
so we can adhere to the Open Meetings Act.
I'm not sure that we can get them all contracted and get it all arranged, but we'll try, work on it.
We're waiting for Dale, because he had to bring that to the airport to verify that, everything was correct.
It's on the phone.
Oh, was he on the phone?
Or is he driving?
I don't know.
Oh.
No, wait a minute, we told him we wanted eyes on.
All right, so we might be waiting a long time.
Yes, I just remember
I
that.
accept a question from the audience. You have to answer that question.
Sure, Rob.
I may have missed your last committee meeting. Who are the 8 names on proposed for the advisory? Or where can I get those names?
Right.
They've just
That's tough.
submitted to it, or not submitted, but suggested.
There's been discussion, nothing's been decided on, we haven't narrowed it down, you know.
These people know they're on the list? Am I on your list?
Different list.
You put me on there.
I'm sorry, no, my head was.
That's all right.
Huh? Well, it's not-
Each one of us
it's
has
not a
talked to
requirement, it's
people.
an advisory.
Okay, so
Pardon?
we're trying to
You
get
would
some
put me on the health
good,
department.
we're trying to
or
get
the housing board.
an idea
Now you put me
of
on
what,
this,
who we can appoint, you know, I'd be on the health department.
I would prefer to be on the housing board, where there was a vacancy. You appointed that one yet?
Is it?
I don't remember what we have or not.
Yeah, we had a resignation, didn't we?
The list will become published before you make the appointments, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there would be no better way to fix the housing board.
All right, surplus equipment. I know Dale has talked about that old green truck, army truck that airports had, and I think he feels like there's no need for it out there. Talked about the possibilities of getting rid of it. Another possibility is the old Cat snowplow that I'm not aware that they used it at all this year. I think they used the other truck that the county had sitting out there. And he said
On loan.
online, that's a belong to the airport. I mean, at any time, I guess they could take that back, then we wouldn't have
Right, but yes,
have a snowplow.
we probably need some kind of intergovernmental agreement if they don't have.
Yeah, I don't know whether we do or don't.
I mean, for the use of it,
Truck.
for the truck, we're talking about.
Yes. So you don't come into a position where you don't have one.
Well, I think it's just, we'll talk to Darren on that. But, whether, something to think about, whether we want to get rid of that snowplow or, it's not costing us anything, but if you could get something out of it. But there again, if for some reason that truck doesn't become available, then what are we going to do? If we leave the snowplow out there as a backup, it's not costing us anything. But
We'd have to put it somewhere else.
right, you have to store it somewhere else, and, I don't know how much it'd bring, if it bring $500, well, you're better off letting it sit there, but if it bring 5,000 or 10,000, then
Put 3 in it and fix them.
Put 7.
7,000, that's, 7,000, so,
I think you could look at it the other way, is while it's worth something, because it was suggested to us that we use it until it breaks down again. And if we do that, then it'd be worth scrap. Right now, it might, if we could find out what it's worth now, and then, I don't have any great hopes that it's, some kind of a panacea for money, but it's worth more now than it is. Maybe, I don't know.
have you seen it? Yeah, but, You know, we could always, you know, make the decision if you wanted to put it out for bids and see, you don't have to accept the bid. You know, and if you get 5 or 10,000, oh, yeah, maybe not to cash in.
We'd almost have to put, that's the type of equipment you'd almost have to put on the internet. Because locally, I mean, I don't think it'd have to be.
But there might be, I mean, it's old, some collector or somebody think it's really neat or something.
That's the tree, I don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe that we could just wait till the advisory board, let them get involved in that, and see what their thoughts are. Next item is maintenance, repairs, and improvements for the main hangar and the T hangar. We'll talk about that, Jeff.
Well, you've got a sheet there from Mr. Randall. Carl noticed we got it a few days ago and it didn't mention wall and ceiling insulation, and it did include that, so he resent it. That's why you've got that handwritten stuff in there. Basically, that's in the south end of the east hangar, or T hangars. And that's the construction of a tool room, workroom, and storage above, on walls, etc. And the construction of a door on the outside of that T hangar, which would be nice anyway. And then we'll also have to have him put a door in between the, or at the office in the T hangar, or the big main hangar too, which is not included in this. But he would be a good one to do that, and I'm just mentioning that that's something that we need to think about also. Because we have to have a door to that office from the main hangar. That's
Oh, you're talking
6 by
about
12.
from here to there?
Right.
Okay.
So that's, and Carl and I went out there with, I went out there with Dale, and and then Carl, you've seen it. Originally, they had thought about another area in the space, and I think everybody determined that there was a better space to put it in, and that's why we got Gary out there to take a look and get us an idea about what it would cost.
And then also, one day I was out there talking to Dale, and on the east hangar, T hangars, there's a lot of posts, main posts for the doors that are rotted off. They've been added, there's been metal plates added to it. And that's something that needs to be addressed this summer, something done with that. And there again, I think get the advisory board involved in that. But that's something we're gonna have to address, and it could run into some money.
Oh, buildings. That one Jack's putting up, they're putting concrete posts up on the ground ways, and then the wood posts go on top of it.
Concrete and wood just don't do real good together in the long run.
But this sounds like they solved the problem. It's got steel plate, the actual,
We
because
did,
all of them are off at ground level for some reason.
But some of these, you know, they just kind of rotted, there's still a little bit there, but there's some of them that on up, you know, like 2 feet, they're rotten.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, one of these days it's, you know, strong wind or something's gonna come, or when they're lifting the doors up, something's gonna break.
Dale Barkley was gonna get a hold of Kirshner's, oh no, Sturdyville, and there was a couple of that he was gonna at least start making contact. We did ask Gary while he was there if that would be something that he could tackle, and he said no. If they were just this, the big problem is the hardware that's attached to them. I mean, you've got that steel beam across the top, and then you've got brackets for the doors. I mean, it's just not going out there and,
Big home.
yeah, I mean, you've got balance, and, I mean, you got all that stuff to deal with, and it's gonna take somebody that's doing that, so.
Has the knowledge and the equipment to do that.
And it's all concrete floor around. We don't have to cut that out.
Yeah.
Concrete floor.
See, Gary did the one up
Right,
in
far.
Chrisman, and, you know, I've seen other places where they've done it. And it may be able to be done that way, but they have to have machinery to hold up the doors and handle the brackets and all the attachments so that they don't become a problem while you're doing it. Right? Yeah. And,
I know a couple of years ago, we had a cattle barn that there was 3 or 4 posts rotted off, and we had a guy come out, and he dug around it and did that
and there's 14 posts that we're dealing with like that.
on on both sides of the east hangar,
Right. On the doors.
the doors. There's other posts. Pardon?
Did you find someone local?
Yes. Yeah, it was a guy here in Paris. It was a little more, up there was gonna be a little more complicated than what,
City of Christmas
I don't know.
checked on that for the building in the park.
I'm gonna ship it to them.
Kind of a new building cost about the same as most month cost to do all those posts.
Really?
You know, this could run into some.
And this sounds like it's even more
Well,
delicate than that.
right, we don't want to candy coat this thing. I mean, this isn't going to be a walk in the park and stuff, but we need to deal with it.
But theirs was all of them, or almost all of them, right? It's, you're talking about just
Well,
you or most of them.
well, I would say most of them, would you, in the older building?
Mhm.
I mean,
There's 14 posts at doors, and then there's a lot of other posts that, and they're starting to rot off, but they're not as critical.
Probably not the same thing.
well, we may, and then we'll have to deal, but we need to find out.
Right.
And we need to, we need to either get a program where they can say, these are your worst, and you need to start here, and then whatever it takes. War. There seemed like there was something else. Oh, energy audit, you wanna tell them about that?
Oh, no, go ahead.
We were visited by the university audit folks on energy and the availability of grants and what resources are available. They came out and actually did the audit yesterday, took a lot of pictures. Dale took them around, looked at the main door, looked at everything in the main hangar, even looked at the lighting system and how it operates the field, anything that could save us energy and improve the experience out there. How did they put that? I somehow, you know, the comfort level of
Right.
people using the facility. And then what they'll do is, once they'll go back and get us a short list and then of what they found, and then there'll be an ultimate report which will categorize what issues we have, how we can handle them, and what resources are available to help us to do it. And they will continue to help us over time do that. So that's our first step in like what the highway department did to
Right.
get their thing done. And this is the first step.
We've got the worst type of heat out there for efficiency, hanging heaters. I'd probably recommend raising
They may well.
for comfort level and cheap.
Geothermal, is that what you said?
That's the best.
How long does it
How's
take?
Interstar gonna stay in business if you keep that
And
in?
it's geothermal.
Yeah, putting in geothermal, has the air conditioner running year round.
You sneaky.
And it has between 80 and 200 years payback. Assuming it don't go bad.
That sounds like the new depreciation tables on doing stuff.
I've never seen
Jeez.
anything around here where that is efficient. Because of the initial cost,
You're gonna see it at the new high school.
and I know we're gonna see it at the new high school.
Have they started putting that in yet? Or at least putting in the,
No, they
Yep.
can't decide where the road's gonna be, so you can't decide where the ditch is gonna be, so you can't run electric wire. Somebody makes this decision. The boys across the road already put in the road, they shouldn't do that.
fun.
Is that Interstar out there, or,
Yeah,
at the high school?
really?
Country?
They're, well, my brother lives in the country, and he's Ameren, and I'm a mile down the road, and I'm Interstar.
Yeah, right across the road from us is Cameron, and we're here.
Bill Moss's.
Double the
house
rates.
Is
Yeah.
Cameron.
You never say that.
Close.
There were agreements made.
When?
We'll do like Marshall just annexed Walmart, that was Interstar.
Really?
Yes, that was all Interstar, that whole area. Walmart came to town,
Didn't
and
have to
Marshall
take a
was
pay
like,
cut.
well, if you don't want to watch Marshall, it doesn't be annexed up to the south of the coast.
It's like Tillman.
Anything else that we need to
Yes, let's
discuss?
go on the subject.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask
You brought it
Question.
up.
Yes,
Jeff, who did that audit? I didn't hear you.
The University of Illinois, it's.
U of I did it.
U of I.
Okay, that's all I want.
Yeah.
Thank
There's
you.
a special unit that they have a
Yep.
name, and I can't remember what it is. It's in the truck, but.
they're the same people that did the audit out of the highway.
Highway.
Right.
Thank you.
They go all over the state, they said, from Carbondale to Chicago, they've done high rises in Chicago, and
Yeah.
do a lot of government stuff.
Smart energy design. Building energy specialist shows you. I didn't understand the connection with the environment. I didn't ask.
Any other business? Motion to adjourn.
So,
Second. All those in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Till 9:30.